All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome you guys to the AMC podcast where we advocate for children first. And this story comes out of Las Vegas. And there was a mother of a 7-year-old boy who was found murdered and dumped on a hiking trail near Las Vegas. And this woman was at breakfast with the man she met only a few days earlier when the police tracked her down and arrested her. So the woman that you see on my screen is the mother of that little boy. And I'm going to tell you guys, that's really heartbreaking. The fact that I continue to talk about these mothers putting their own personal feelings over their own children. And it's just absolutely ridiculous to think that a person could even do that, let alone a mother in a case like this. Now, police have arrested the woman. Let me see if I can get her back on the screen so you guys can see her face. Give me a moment. I have a lot of pictures of the boy, which is good. So this demon that y'all see on my screen right there, her name is Samantha Rodriguez. She is 35 years old. And they arrested her in Denver. So I think that's Denver, Colorado, if I'm not mistaken, unless there's another Denver somewhere. But earlier this month, and they now say that they have picked her up having an apparent breakfast date. How about that? How about that? How about just knowing, let's just say we don't know if her son is dead. Just the fact that she has a kid, and I've told you guys, I really despise people having young children and doing a whole lot of dating. I just don't think that looks right. Okay? Now, you guys are going to have to bear with this audio. I know the mic is messed up. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do about it right now. So y'all are just going to have to bear with me, okay? Guys, I really despise people having young children. Yeah, we're just going to have to get through that. That sounds decent enough, okay? Now, let's keep going. They found this woman having what they said an apparent date. She was on a date while her son is dead. But there's more to tell about this story. There's an indication that when she left San Jose, that she was intending on starting a new life. And that's according to Las Vegas Metro Homicide Lieutenant Ray Spencer, who told the news. The suspect can be even seen all dolled up with makeup on in her mugshot, which you guys can see. Let me see if I have a better picture. Let you guys take a look at this. She is casket ready with all that makeup that she has on, right? Ready for her date while her son is dead. Rodriguez, again, who is 35 years old, of San Jose, is facing charges of murdering her 7-year-old son, Liam Husted. And I'm sorry if I cannot pronounce his last name correctly, but I know his first name is Liam. That beautiful little boy that y'all see right there, who seems like he's a very, very happy kid. And it's really sad that this has come to this. But Liam, that you see on there, is 7 years old. They said, "I'm sorry I had to do it like this," she said. "I'm going to try and get a house for Liam and I, and we could talk about this in the future." So apparently she said this, and she left a note for her partner before leaving the city. So I don't know exactly what that means, but let's keep going. She didn't have a plan to get a house, though. Instead, hikers found her son. Brace yourselves for this. As y'all can see the pictures of where he was left off the side of the highway. If y'all can see this, I'm going to back this up so y'all can see this is literally off the side of a highway. Hikers found her son's body naked. Found her son's body naked 8 feet off a dirt road beside bushes in Mountain Spring near Las Vegas in May. After reported missing by the father, police received about 500 tips and launched an investigation with a team of 24 detectives. So thank you guys that saw something, realized something was wrong, and said something. That in itself is a blessing. I'm glad that people are actually stepping up to the plate and saying something when they realize that something is wrong. And I want you guys to understand how many tips that is. Not 5, not 25, not 50. They said 500 unique tips. I don't know if everybody can grasp the gravity of how many tips that actually is. That's quite a bit. They said, we knew from the examination of Liam's body that someone was having a difficult time trying to move his body. Think about that. Investigators were not able to find the boy's clothes. Spencer went on to add that we were very fortunate that the hiker went behind that bush this morning. Detectives and officers worked day and night to try to find this boy after they got all of those tips. Now, detectives and officers worked day and night trying to find him, and I think I already read that, but I'm sorry. Anyway, at the end, when everything comes out and how much work went into this case, it's an unbelievable effort by this police department to hold someone responsible for what they did. Police believe that there is every indication that Liam was killed. And I'm going to just step out there on a limb because they don't directly implicate the mom the way that I do. I believe that the mom killed her son. And what do we call that? Babies for benefits. We believe here at the AFC that there are a lot of people in this world that only have these children for the benefits that they can collect from these children. Then, when those children no longer are a benefit to them, to people like this, with the let me back that up. She has on enough makeup that if they put her in a casket right now, she would be ready to lay it down, close her eyes, and lay back. She'd be good to go with all that makeup on her face, looking straight like a mannequin. She clearly didn't love her son. I don't know how many people actually know her, but I'm telling you guys, I don't care if she just had, if people try to blame this on mental illness, like how many people out there actually want to make an excuse for this woman who we believe dumped her son's body right there in that spot. That is demonic. That is horrible. And I just can't think anything good about a person that will be that callous and that damn stupid. But stupid is as stupid does. So what I want to do is I actually want you guys to hear some of the news videos. But let me say this real quick about the biological father. The biological father has defended the mother accused of murdering her 7-year-old son and said that he doesn't believe that she is a bad mom. Wow. Let's think about that for a moment. The biological father came out and left that statement. And his statement about his own son, this beautiful baby boy that y'all see right here, the dad, I guess he just is disconnected from his own son and said, I don't believe that she is a bad mom. And I want y'all to remember that the mom was on a date with somebody else. Did everybody catch that? I'm sorry, but that makes the dad seem very dense. Like he has a pea brain. Like his brain is very, very small. The fact that he doesn't understand that they are saying that his son was murdered. They don't know for a fact that it was the mom, but there is a lot of evidence that's pointing towards the mom who was dolled up with makeup from head to toe to see another man. I don't know what world this so-called father is living in, but when you have a child, a real father, a real man, like myself, like my fathers in the chat, like those of you who are listening in my chat who are real parents, would put the focus on your child first. Is that not what the AFC stands for? Advocates for Children First. Please keep that in the front of your brain. Let's go ahead and give you guys the fair usage. And I'm going to try to adjust the volume, so I'm sorry if it's too loud at first. Y'all bear with me. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. All right, I'm going to try to adjust this volume. I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to listen and do this at the same time. Let me see how we sound. Hold on, y'all. And if you guys are watching, I almost forgot to remind you. Okay, that's a little bit better. If you guys would do me a favor and please click that thumbs up. I'm sorry I didn't remind everybody. I know we have some people who might be here for the first time. Again, we take a look at news stories that are happening to children specifically. That's what our channel is dedicated towards. So the way that you can help bring more attention to stories like Liam, do something very simple. Just click that thumbs up. Every show, we want to have at least 600 thumbs up, if not more, if we can. So if you guys would do that and help us out, it'll help share his story. You don't have to do anything else. Everybody else who is in the chat that shows support to the show, they already know what time it is. So I thank you guys for doing what y'all do, okay? Have at least 600 thumbs up. So we're at 255 right now. So we have 500 people here, so we should be at about 400 thumbs up. So we're a little bit behind. We're about 145 thumbs up behind, okay? So if you will, before you post the comment, let me know that you click the thumbs up first. Don't post any more comments until you post in the comments, yes, I clicked the thumbs up, okay? It'll help share this stream, even if you don't realize it, and push us further up in the algorithm for YouTube for more people to find this video, okay? All right. Let's go ahead and get started.
A San Jose mother.
That is very loud. Hold on. And matter of fact, those who donated, I want to say thank you real quick to, let me see. I'm going to just say your first name, Bianca. If you're listening, thank you, Bianca. I got you. Jimmy D, thank you. Those are the two that came in so far. And for the super chats, Crystal, thank you, Crystal. Actually, 2 times. Thank you, Crystal. 3 times. Crystal donated 3 times. So if you're listening, thank you as well. But those are the ones I got so far. So if anybody else wants to contribute, y'all know the links are in the description box. Let me try to turn that volume down just a little bit. All right, here we go.
A San Jose mother on the run, captured hundreds of miles away from the desert where investigators say she dumped her little boy's body. KPIX5's Maria Medina with the message police say the mother left behind before she allegedly killed her son.
She specifically tells him, quote, "I'm sorry I had to do it like this."
May 24th, Las Vegas police say Liam Husted's father came home to find his son, the boy's mother, Samantha Rodriguez, and their belongings gone. Rodriguez's message, all that was left behind.
She also goes on to say that I'm going to try to get a house for Liam and I, and that we can talk about this in the future.
Investigators say Liam's father never felt his son was in danger, but what happened next is what investigators themselves have described as heartbreaking. Rodriguez is accused of driving Liam to Nevada, where they were seen at a Las Vegas hotel on May 27th. The next day, a hiker discovered little Liam's body near a trailhead, his mother nowhere to be found, when FBI agents tracked her at a Denver, Colorado hotel with a man.
However, the person that was taken, that she was with in Denver, we do not believe has any involvement whatsoever in this case.
But here's the thing. I want to hear what the mother's story is as to where her son was and why she didn't have her son while she was on this quote-unquote date with a man. Let's not put it past the fact that maybe this man knew something and didn't say anything, because he had to have known that she had a child, right? They said they're talking about making a future with each other. So let me back that up. Let me let y'all hear that again. Let me back it up just a little bit. Let's listen again.
His mother nowhere to be found when FBI agents tracked her at a Denver, Colorado hotel with a man.
However, the person that was taken, that she was with in Denver, we do not believe has any involvement whatsoever in this case.
Liam, just 7 years old, described as loving, full of energy on a GoFundMe page dedicated in his name.
Now, y'all know how I feel about those GoFundMes. They don't have life insurance, but you can rest assured that they'll put up a GoFundMe and say, can you please help us bury our baby, as opposed to doing the responsible thing. And when those notices come in the mail for life insurance, you can look at them, pick a plan, call them, and make an investment that everybody should be making anyway, because just as well as we're going to live, we all will pass away, and our families should be the ones responsible for taking care of our final expenses, not society. That's not society's job to fill up y'all GoFundMes for y'all lack of taking care of your final expenses, okay? GoFundMe should be used for life, not for death. Let's keep going.
Taken, that she was with in Denver, we do not believe has any involvement whatsoever in this case.
Liam, just 7 years old, described as loving, full of energy on a GoFundMe page dedicated in his name. A family friend who wanted to remain anonymous tells KPIX she and a few other friends were the ones who alerted San Jose police last week. The police sketch of the unidentified boy out of Nevada bared a striking resemblance to Liam. That report, the turning point in the case in helping identify him. The family friend says Liam had autism and Rodriguez was a stay-at-home mom, but their family was close, inseparable. Friends thought Rodriguez just took a break from being a mother. She's now awaiting extradition.
While the outcome is heartbreaking, there's a sense of closure that Liam Husted will no longer be referred to as a John Doe.
And that family friend says Liam was distance learning. A vigil is scheduled for this Thursday in San Jose for Liam.
Now, for those who are listening to the sound of my voice right now, if y'all want to see the entire press conference, I have a shortened version of this, and I want you guys to be able to hear this. So let me go ahead and let this play. It's about 10 minutes. But I want y'all to remember we're doing 2 stories tonight, okay? So this is just the first. We're going to do the second one about the commissioner, or whoever she is, the city leader, pointing a gun at a child. We'll get to that story here in a minute. That's why I want y'all to click that thumbs up. Share these stories, okay?
In San Jose, Maria Medina, KPIX 5.
He specifically...
So I want y'all to hear this explanation. Here we go.
He specifically tells him, quote, "I'm sorry I had to do it like this." She also goes on to say that I'm going to try to get a house for Liam and I, and that we can talk about this in the future. There was nothing suspicious in that message that would lead the father to believe that Liam or Samantha were involved in any kind of foul play, or that there was any harm potentially to come. Over the next week, the father basically did not know what to do. It was on June 1st that the father contacted the San Jose Police Department because he wanted to document the incident. San Jose Police responded to his house and they spoke with him. The patrol officers listened to this message. I've also listened to the message, and there was nothing suspicious from that message. It indicated that Samantha had basically left him and took Liam with her, and they were going somewhere else. He did not want to get Samantha in trouble, and he chose not to file a report to document the parental abduction. It was on the 4th when a friend of Samantha's noticed the sketch that had been circulating on local news networks, and she also knew that Samantha was missing. After observing that, she then went to the San Jose Police Department and explained to them that she felt that Liam could potentially be the person in that sketch. As soon as San Jose police were presented with that information, they immediately launched an investigation and were very persistent in getting a hold of me. That is when they spoke with me that evening, and that's when we began coordinating our investigations. It is the following morning that we flew there, retrieved the pillow from Liam's bedroom, and brought that back to our forensics lab. So we have I talked yesterday about the information where we could put Samantha in Laguna Beach. We also could place her in Victorville. Since the press conference yesterday, we can place her at a local hotel here in Las Vegas on the 27th. When she was at that hotel, we believe from the information that we have right now that Liam was alive. From there, on the 28th, is when we found Liam's body at Mountain Springs. This morning, at around 6 a.m., members of the FBI's apprehension team in Denver took her into custody. I will turn this press conference over at this point to Jeremy with the FBI.
All right, good afternoon. I stood up here last week announcing the reward the FBI was offering for the identification of our victim. I expressed that this child had the right to be referenced by his given name, and he deserved law enforcement's commitment to this investigation. While the outcome is heartbreaking, there's a sense of closure that Liam Husted will no longer be referred to as a John Doe. This morning, an arrest was made by FBI's Denver Rocky Mountain Safe Streets Task Force, which is made possible due to the coordinated effort between members of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, the Las Vegas Criminal Apprehension Team, and the FBI Denver Field Office. While different cities, FBI task forces may have different names in different cities, but their purpose is all the same. It's standard practice for the FBI to assist our local law enforcement partners if we have a tool, a tactic, or a technique that will be of any use. And this investigation, we are fortunate that we're able to assist in this case. We're very thankful for our strong working relationships within the Las Vegas Police Department, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, and the law enforcement officers within this community. I do want to just extend my appreciation to the media for your cooperation and your assistance in getting out as much information as you possibly could in such a quick time frame, and also to thank their public for their commitment and for their assistance in us getting to a resolution.
So at this point, I'll take some questions if you do have them.
Any information on the arrest? Was it a tip, and was it 6 a.m. local time here, or?
It was around 6 o'clock local time, give or take a few minutes this morning. I'm not going to get into the investigative tactics that were utilized by the apprehension team in Denver, but it was solely on the work that the FBI task force there did that led to the arrest. Or go ahead.
Obviously, you guys have been working on this case really hard for the past 2 or so weeks. How significant is solving this case for you and your detectives?
Well, like I said, the entire department, specifically my detectives, myself, it's emotionally draining working a case like this. Being able to have closure and identify Liam was very important, and now that we're able to make an arrest on this case is extremely gratifying.
Let me ask you guys this real quick. Let me take a pause. There's about 5 more minutes of this. Do you guys want to hear the rest of the story? Let me know. I can go ahead and let this play out. Or if you want me to move on to the next story, let me know. But I can play the rest of this. I want y'all to hear what else he has to say. But just let me know. Take a vote in the chat. Don't block or time out anybody. I want everybody to have an opinion. And while y'all are here, don't forget, please click the thumbs up if you have not already done so. The goal right now is just 400 if we could get there. 400 thumbs up, and then we'll push for 600.
In the back.
Last we heard she was seen on the 31st at a hotel in Denver. A lot of times passed since then. Do you get a sense of what she was doing in Denver? Was she still bouncing around to hotels? Any idea why she chose Denver as her
We don't know why she was in Denver. I know, like I said, we had her in Colorado even before the hotel room on the 31st, and we do know she was again at a hotel this morning in Denver. Why Denver, we don't know. We have detectives that are on the ground right now conducting interviews with her, and again, that's ongoing. So some of that information could come out as a result of those. Yes?
Do you believe that she was alone during this last week or so?
During the time that Liam was killed, we believe she was alone at that time.
Lieutenant, was she also alone in Denver when she was found?
She was not alone in Denver when she was found. However, the person that was taken, that she was with in Denver, we do not believe has any involvement whatsoever in this case.
I have a couple of other questions.
Okay, I'll come back with you, Ken. Yes.
Was Rodriguez arrested peacefully? Was there any resistance or anything like that?
She was taken into custody without incident.
What happens to the car? Is it considered part of evidence, and what do you do since it's in Denver and you guys are here?
So we are currently making arrangements. The FBI sealed the vehicle this morning when she was taken into custody. We will have that vehicle towed back to Las Vegas and processed at the LVMPD forensics lab. Ken?
The person she was found with in Denver is male or female?
She was with a male this morning in Denver.
One person.
That is correct.
So one person, a male in Denver. Had she stayed in some place other than a hotel?
That we don't know at this point. And again, we're in the process of interviewing her right now. Yes.
Trying to piece this together, she went to Laguna, she was there for like a day and a half, and then came to Las Vegas and stayed, and then to Denver. It seems just like such an odd route to take. Do you have any sense of why this was her path, what her intentions were at all during this trip?
It appears, and this is just our detectives speculating, that she drove down Pacific Coast Highway when we have her in Laguna Beach, and then shortly thereafter she's in the Victorville area. We don't know why that route was taken.
Now, to be honest with y'all, I'm not sure exactly where she's from or where they were living, but they're speaking on where the child was found and where the mother was arrested at. So that's really about all I know so far. Let me say thank you real quick. Alicia, Monica, Almond Brown, Jimmy D, and then of course we had one PayPal from my friend who wants to remain anonymous, but they know who they are. Bianca actually donated twice. So if you're listening, Bianca, thank you very much. All right, let's keep going. Just want to say thank you real quick. All right, here we go.
Vanessa.
When you're trying to identify a body, and in particular a child like this, and you have that sketch and you're asking for information, how does that information get to other police departments, and how much do you rely on them if they do have a missing child? And I know in this case it wasn't a missing report, but how much do you rely on the other departments?
Well, that information we coordinate through the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And I also, going back, we would also not be here if it was not the work that the National Center did. Their cooperation and their assistance is paramount in this investigation. So when that sketch is generated, that sketch is sent out to multiple agencies. But again, you're looking at a sketch. I mean, I'll tell you what I have learned over the last 10 days is how many missing children there are nationally. I was inundated with reports of missing children from all over the United States. And when I said we had hundreds of tips come in, we were going through all of those because there are so many missing children in the United States. And trying to make an identification from the photograph of the missing children, you know, it's a very complicated and time-consuming process. Yes?
Do we know the relationship between Liam's father and Rodriguez? Are they married? Are they divorced? Do they have joint custody? What's going on?
I believe it's a common law type marriage. They've been together for an extensive amount of time. They are both the parents of Liam. Yes?
Before I ask about the reward, especially in sports, will you tell us how Liam died?
Right now, we're not going to get into the specifics on how he died. We do have an idea of how he died. Until the coroner releases the actual result of the autopsy, which is pending toxicology, we're not going to discuss that at this point. And just to follow up on your next question, the FBI does not disclose or discuss the results of the reward money. So,
Is there any clearer picture of why this may have happened?
As far, again, we should have a little bit better idea on motive once we get the investigation continues. Like I said, we're in Denver right now. We're still following up on a lot of those leads. So,
is it too early to ask you about the special needs relationship, special needs of Liam?
I don't.
The father refers to those in an email to the San Jose.
Yeah, regardless of what the father has discussed, is that we don't discuss medical.
Somebody in the chat actually asked a very good question. Somebody asked, was the date ever interviewed? Yes, he was. Mom's date was interviewed because the police believe he didn't have anything to do with it, but they had to talk to him to find that out. Let me also give a shout out to our other content creators in here. We got Bolo. I also want to give a shout out to Leave It to Beaver. Also give a shout out to Make This Go Viral TV, E&E All Around Crime. Any other YouTube content creators that are in the chat right now, make sure to shout yourselves out. So thank y'all for being here. If any donations come in, I will read them right after this particular story, but these are the only ones I've had so far. But thank you, Misty, and the rest of you guys. But let's go ahead and keep going. It's a couple more minutes, and then we'll wrap this up.
History or information publicly. Yes.
Can you get a sense of her mental state when she was arrested? Is competency going to play a role here, and what's the timeline for getting her back to Las Vegas?
So I'll address the second part of your question, not the first. So in the timeline is right now she will have an option to waive extradition. If she waives extradition, she would probably be back in Las Vegas by the end of the week. If she fights that, then we'll obtain a governor's warrant, and that could be up to 30 days. Vanessa.
Do you believe that Liam may have been the victim of long-term abuse, and do you know if any child welfare agency had ever been involved with this family?
There is nothing that indicates there was any type of long-term abuse whatsoever, nor any type of involvement with social services prior to that. Kate?
I know you're not releasing the cause of death right now, but is it fair to say that he died in Vegas?
Yes, we are 100% confident that he was killed here in Clark County. Specifically, we believe he was actually killed in Mountain Springs. Yes?
Is there any indication between Rodriguez and Liam's father that there was any sort of domestic strife between them that would cause her to maybe take the child or anything?
No, there again, you know, and I kind of addressed that. There was nothing, you know, obviously they've been together, you know, I don't know their, you know, the personal relationship as far as that, but there was nothing that indicates that. There was no prior involvement with the San Jose Police Department. So I'll take one more question. Yeah.
And also, just to let you guys know, I might have slightly mentioned this, but maybe I didn't highlight it enough. But the mother was on the run, I think they said for like 10 days. They couldn't find her. I wanted to point that out. They could not find her. And I know the audio was bad. I'm sorry. I'm doing the best I can to try to speak loud so you guys can hear me. Let me repeat that. They were looking for the mom, like they were doing like, you know how they say a manhunt? We're going to call it a witch hunt because she's like a witch. But they were looking for her, I believe, for about 10 days, maybe a little bit less, but they were looking for her and they had to track her down while she was at her date. So think about that for a moment.
Go ahead.
I know you mentioned toxicology. Was there a weapon involved in the slaying?
I'm not going to answer that question specifically. Yeah, I'll take one more.
You listened to the message to her significant other here. She intended on finding a house and moving out. Did you believe that message? Do you reasonably believe that she had good intent when she went?
I don't know what her intent was, but I'll tell you from listening to the message, you know, there was nothing that indicated any type of suspicion or foul play. And that's, you know, what the father expressed as well. The father was, you know, didn't know what to do. After the week took place, that's when he contacted the police, and then he still, again, chose not to make a report for any type of child abduction.
And I want you guys to remember, she would still have to explain how her son ended up there when she had her son in her custody. What happened to her son? How did he get to that point? That's the most important thing, and that's what we need an answer to.
They documented it per his request, and that's what took place there. All right.
You know where Samantha and Liam stayed on the night of 26th, Wednesday night? That would have been the night they were last seen in Laguna, then Victorville, presumably coming here.
So again, still early on. I do know where she stayed on the 27th, so we're still working those type of things, and we eventually have those answers.
Were they in a hotel or did they stay in the car?
On the 27th, they were in a hotel here locally. So thank you, guys.
Thanks. Thank you.
Okay, let me give you guys my closing thoughts about this. I'm trying to think about what I can say that I haven't already said. And I can't. There is nothing I can say that I haven't already said. This woman did not care about her child. Okay? The fact that he was in her custody, and I want you guys to remember that her son is autistic. He's autistic. And it is very sad, let alone this happening to any child. But I think that she cared even less, in my humble opinion, she cared even less about baby boy Liam, probably because he was autistic. And the fact that she took advantage of her son in this way, I'm not sure what she did, but I personally believe, like a lot of people in the chat, people in the comment section, believe that she caused the death of her son, which would be premeditated, which would be murder. She should easily get a murder charge. Now, why her son was found with no clothing is beyond me, and I'm sure y'all don't want me to give any speculation as to why that is. Now, I will say this about the biological father, which is him right here. He seems like he loved his son. He seemed like he loved his son. But let me point out to you guys that he came out and defended the mom. He came out in defense of the mom and said, I believe that she is a good person. She's not a bad person. When someone is accused of murdering your legacy, your son, your baby, all of that other thoughts and feelings, in my personal opinion, has to go to the back end, to the backside, to the wayside. Matter of fact, how about you just don't say that? You could think it, but I just don't think it's the proper thing to say, because in our eyes, it makes it look like you didn't care about your son as much as you cared about this woman, especially, and I want y'all to also remember this, the way that they put this in the news is they made it seem like the mom was a model. They called the mom a model, like a fashion model. I don't know what type of model she was. I would assume maybe she could have been a Backpage model, maybe an OnlyFans model, but I couldn't see her as like no print model or nothing like that, no runway model. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm being a little harsh, but I think that type of thing went to her head, and she believed that her gratification mattered more. And that's why we have to be very careful about how we just praise people blindly. Giving people undue praise can be a bad thing to pumping up a person's ego like that can be a very bad thing, because it can cause them to be in a very bad place emotionally, that they start to lack things that they should be giving to their children. So if you ask me, I think the mom cared more about her happiness than she did her own son, while she's sitting there getting praised by the baby dad while she's out on a date with another man. To me, that's smells like a simp to me of a father. Sorry, I just don't like it. But this woman, if she's a model, then I'm sorry. Then I'm a millionaire if she's a model. Just don't make sense. But to sit there and abuse that baby boy who wouldn't have hurt anyone, it's just unfair. It's flat out unfair. And that baby boy deserved to grow up and maximize whatever he was going to be and become something great. So I want to pull up my favorite picture of him if I can find it. this wonderful smile right here. And that's how I want this baby boy to be remembered. So baby Liam, young Prince, R.I.P. R.I.P. I'm DJ Just Jay, and thank y'all for listening with an open mind and an open heart. Thank you. Now, if y'all don't mind, I need to do a quick sound check, and we're going to do one more story. Do y'all have time? I know it's kind of late. Some of y'all got to get up and go to work. I will start to do these streams a little bit earlier, but I think I might have to go out tomorrow and buy a brand new mixer because this is not going to work with my audio doing this crazy crap. Okay? We got to fix this. I want to talk about this politician. How many of y'all heard about this politician that pointed a gun at a child? A grown woman pointed a gun at a child. How many of y'all heard about this? Matter of fact, let me ask y'all this. How many of y'all have ever heard of Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd? If y'all have never heard of this man, y'all have probably seen some of his videos. He's a pretty popular character, and I think for very good reason. I think he stands on what's right and stands up for justice, which I think is a great, great thing. So I definitely want to show him some love. Ooh, look at that face of hers. Boy. Sheesh. Wow. Let me say this. At least this didn't involve any children being murdered or dead. So that's at least a positive thing that came from this story. Look at her face, man. Let me say this. Okay, volume is good. If y'all would, please click the thumbs up. We're at 400. How many thumbs up do we have? We are at 434. Can we reach 600 thumbs up? I know I hadn't been live in a few days, but if we can get to 600 thumbs up real quick, y'all. Real quick, y'all. That would be awesome. We're really, really close. We're at 434. If somebody can let me know every once in a while what that number is, that would be awesome. One of our moderators, if you would, that would be awesome. Okay? Let's go ahead and get started talking about old Crater Face here. That is, I hate makeup. Look at that. That don't even look like the same person. God, dog. Y'all see this? Look at this double take. This double mint gum double take. Y'all see this? Let's talk about this commissioner. A city commissioner. I want to know what city this comes out of. Florida. I should have known. I should have known. Let's talk about this man real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, some of our most ridiculous stories have actually come out of Florida. This one is not going to be an exception. What y'all are going to hear is just going to be flat out ridiculous. If you can't handle my commentary or my jokes, I get it, then this might not be the channel for you. You might want to exit the video and just let us enjoy this video in peace while we talk about this woman who was supposed to be a leader and a pillar in the community. Because when you step up for public office, then you are agreeing to be something more than just an ordinary citizen. And I hope I said that properly. Because this woman that you see was actually a Lake Wales city commissioner. And I hope I pronounced that correctly. Y'all know I don't always pronounce everything right. Lake Wales, W-A-L-E-S, in Polk County, Florida. Is that correct? If it's not, then just bear with me. But that woman that you see on my screen right there, let me see if I can look at this picture here. Man, it must have been a hard knock life for us. Must have been a hard knock life for us in the face. Boy, her face looked like somebody slapped her with 3-grade sandpaper. Sheesh. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little bit mean. But let me show you guys a picture and why I bring up this woman's looks when people say, well, what does that have to do with anything? What we're talking about is deception. Okay? Have you guys ever played Mortal Kombat before? We're talking about deception. And I want y'all to look at this face right here. Look at this face. And y'all tell me, let me see if we can get a side-by-side comparison. And y'all tell me, would you think on first glance that these two people were the same person? Makeup is the devil. It comes straight from Satan. It comes straight from Satan's bowels. I don't know why people continue to slap this bull crap on their face, which chokes out their pores, which makes them look like something that they don't naturally look like. But I think if you're talking about really loving yourself, then I think that you should love yourself for the way that you look and wash your face. This woman, okay, let me get off of that because y'all not going to even hear the damn story. But the individual that y'all see right there, when you wipe that damn mask off of her face like she's Jim Carrey, that is 41-year-old Kristen Fitzgerald. 41 years old. Would y'all believe that me and her are about the same age? Because that woman literally looks like she old enough to be, I don't know, 54, 60 maybe. Pushing 60, pushing it pretty close. This woman that you see, Kristen Fitzgerald, a Lake Wales city commissioner, picked up an 11-year-old boy. She picked up an 11-year-old boy from his house and took him to the honey house. Did I read that right? Let me read this again. And I'm getting this from WTSP.com. I am not making this up. What the hell is the honey house? I'm going to Google search this real quick. The honey house in Florida. Let me see if I can find this out. Okay. I Google searched the honey house, Honey, and I don't know what the hell the honey house is and why she be picking up an 11-year-old boy. Yeah, that sounds creepy, does it not? I mean, could you imagine if I said, some man, Terry, picked up an 11-year-old girl and took her to the bunny ranch? It's just the words don't sound right. Maybe he was taking her to an actual ranch that had bunnies. I don't know. Maybe this is a house that actually, like I don't know, that houses bees and beehives. I don't know. That's a little weird. But y'all look this up on WTSP.com. It says she picked this boy up from his house. Hashtag, where's the mom? Where's the dad? Hell if I know. And took him to the honey house. She then accused the boy of touching a now 13-year-old girl in a sexual manner a year ago. That's according to Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd, which we'll hear from here in a minute. She accused this the 11-year-old boy of touching a girl who was 2 years older than him in a sexual manner. I'm going to be real honest with you guys. If girls are more mature than boys, and I'm not saying this wouldn't have happened or couldn't have happened, it just seems a little weird that at that age, I don't know if y'all have ever had kids around that age, but girls around that age are usually a little bit bigger than the boys, are they not? Like at that age, the little 11-year-old boy hasn't hit puberty yet. The 13-year-old girl has hit puberty. I'm not saying that it's not possible, but I'm just saying usually the girls are a little bit bigger than the boys at this age. So I don't know about that story. Now, the boy denied the woman's accusations, at which she threatened the boy with a gun. So he said, no, I didn't do that. And she threatened him with a gun. So this is the part that y'all really got to pay attention to. When detectives spoke with that woman right there with the hard face, the affidavit says that she denied threatening the boy and simply told the boy to stay away from the 13-year-old girl. It says child, but I'm assuming it's a girl because just... I guess it could have been a boy, but I'm just going to hope for humanity's sake, and I hope the LGBTQRST ain't gonna get mad about me saying that, but I hope that it was a girl in this accusation. Just anyway, that sounds all kind of wrong. Let's move on past that. So she denied threatening the boy and simply told the boy to stay away from the 13-year-old. Fitzgerald says she keeps a gun inside a case in her car, and the gun slid out from underneath the seat while the boy was in the car with her. Now that sounds like total BS. I'm going to read that again. This grown woman, 41 years old, said that she keeps a gun. Let me grab mine real quick. Hold on. Hold on. So I want y'all to imagine this. She said a gun was in a case. So not even in a holster. Because I'm sure she knows the difference between a case and a holster. She had her gun in a case. And the case somehow magically slid from underneath the seat. And so did the gun magically get out of the case and the boy saw the gun not in the case? Because if you ask me, most 11-year-olds, if you saw a gun case, let's think about this rationally for a moment. Rationale. If a gun is in a case, do most 11-year-old children know what a gun case is? I think not. I think most kids might think there might be money inside of a case that we know as adults that a gun goes into, like a lock case. So how would he automatically assume that? I don't know. But it doesn't sound right, but let's keep going. She reportedly told detectives that she pushed it back under the seat with her foot. Now, according to the affidavit, deputies found the gun inside of a brown bag. A brown bag. What is this, Sonic? The brown bag special? A brown bag on the driver's floorboard of Fitzgerald's car. Why would a gun, that's a big difference between a holster, a case, and then we find the gun in a brown bag. Now, for those of y'all who don't like my Sonic joke, whatever, because I know they don't do the damn brown bag special no more, but that's the only brown bag I could think of. I don't know. But she said the gun was in a case. Case. Not a holster like this one. That's a gun holster. This is not a case. And I don't have a brown bag, but I'm sure a brown bag don't look like a case or a holster. They found it under the driver's side floorboard. Now, deputies say that the gun was loaded, but a round was not in the chamber when it was found. Now, during an interview with Children's Advocacy Center, the affidavit says that the boy, Fitzgerald, called him on the phone and wanted to speak to him and not his mother. Ooh, let me repeat that. Let me repeat that. During an interview, the affidavit, hashtag not my words, don't go sending me emails threatening to sue me talking about DJ Just J, you don't have your facts right. You wasn't there. Yous don't know what you's talking about. This is not my words. Okay? According to an affidavit, it says the boy said that that woman called him on the phone and wanted to speak to him and not his mother. All of this can't be a lie. All of this can't be fabricated. Now you have to ask yourself, why the hell would a grown woman, excuse me for a moment. I'm a father, and I'm a father with a gun. Let me put this damn thing up. Get myself in trouble. I am a father. You telling me that somebody is going to call either my house or my daughter's mom's house and say, I don't want to speak to the mom. I don't want to speak to the dad. I want to speak to your daughter. Really? On what planet do they do that at? Huh? What planet do they do that? Have y'all ever heard of anything so asinine? That deserves an ass whooping by itself. Any grown person, she's not related to them, or maybe she is, I don't know. Let me not speak too fast. I want to know how she knows them. I want to know how she knows the family. And how was she able to go pick this child up? To me, none of that sounds right. But there's got to be more to this. Excuse me. Let me keep going with the story. Sheriff Judd says that Fitzgerald, that woman on the right-hand side of the screen, told the boy to come outside and get in her car. What kind of a relationship does she have with these so-called parents? Let me tell, I'm so confused by this. It's just really hard for me to believe. And I know y'all might look at this and wonder how I draw these conclusions. And shout out to my brother Tommy. But we've heard these stories many, many times. And let me tell y'all this. This sounds like it's a single mom that this boy lives under her roof. You want me to tell you why? Because what father is going to let some grown-ass woman come pick his son up and take him to the honey house, and then turn around and call your house and disrespect you, talking about, I don't want to talk to you, I want to talk to your kid? What type of parenting is that? She called and told the boy to come outside and get in her car. I want y'all to imagine, what if this was a man who called a mother's house and told her, I don't want to talk to you, I want to talk to your 11-year-old daughter. What if instead, if that was a commissioner woman, what if it was a man that called your house and asked to speak to your 11-year-old daughter? What would y'all think? Huh? Would you treat it differently? Is it different because she's a woman? Is it different? If we're talking about equality, we're going to see how equal and fair people are going to be about this. The boy said he thought Fitzgerald was going to give him money or a gift for finishing his school year. Y'all saying she's a friend of the family? That's what it sounds like to me, because none of this, unless you add friend of the family in there, none of this sounds right at all. But the boy said that he thought that she was going to give him money or a gift for finishing school. And again, that don't sound right at all. Now, the boy then reported that that woman confronted him about sexual allegations that happened last year that made the 13-year-old, that the 13-year-old had made. Fitzgerald then threatened him. She threatened to kill this boy if he ever communicated or touched the 13-year-old again. I'm assuming that's a girl. Now, according to the affidavit, the boy said that Fitzgerald took the gun out of the bag and showed the boy the gun, which actually makes sense. Because if you think about it, if the gun was in a bag, how would the 11-year-old boy would have known what was in the bag? Wasn't that Justin Timberlake that asked, what's in the box? Do y'all think that if this story happened the way that this crazy woman describes this story, how many 11-year-olds, let alone a 13-year-old, will see a bag underneath the seat and think, oh yeah, there must be a gun in there? I don't think anybody in their right mind, even a grown person, would look underneath the seat and see a brown bag and think, oh yeah, there's a gun in there. That don't even sound right. Fitzgerald then threatened to kill him if he ever communicated with or touched the 13-year-old again. Now, according to the affidavit, Fitzgerald took the gun out of the bag and showed him the gun and threatened to bury the boy alive. Fitzgerald then kept the gun in her lap while driving the boy from the honey house back to his home, the boy reportedly told investigators. Now, he also said he thought that Fitzgerald was drunk. He said that she was drunk and he could smell alcohol on her breath. Now, the boy said he was afraid of her and never wanted to see her again. Now, the boy's mother confirmed to investigators that she didn't know that Fitzgerald was taking her son anywhere and didn't give her permission. In the past, Fitzgerald had taken her son places, but had always gotten permission and told the boy's mother where they were going. I would love to know. Yeah, this is okay. Y'all are saying that she's a friend of the family. I want y'all to think about this. You didn't say that she was a relative of the family. There were people in the chat who said that she's a friend of the family and not an actual family member. Would y'all let y'all kids be just picked up and just taken off and done whatever with your kids with a friend of the family? And we wonder why the rape, abuse, and murder is outrageous in our world. Because this is the type of thing that people are allowing folks to get away with. This woman did an interview, and she said that she admitted to showing the boy the gun, but she said that she did not point the gun at him. So there you go. She lied. Every time you lie like this, especially when it involves children, I think you should get 10 years in prison. How about we make that a new law? Is everybody on board with that, or y'all against that? Let me know what y'all think. If you lie about misusing, abusing a child, and we find out that you lied, 10 years in prison. That alone should be a felony and let people know to stop playing with our children. The affidavit said that the woman clarified what she said to the boy, saying, I did say I would bury him, but I didn't say alive. Like that makes it any better. She said, I did say I would bury him, but I didn't say alive. You just can't be that level of stupid. The Polk County Sheriff's Office on Thursday arrested Fitzgerald. She's facing 2 felony charges, 1 count of interference with child custody, and 1 count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Fitzgerald is currently in the Polk County Jail with 0 bond. So good for them. It sounds like they got this right. They said, we don't expect this kind of behavior from anybody, especially somebody in public office. She should be held to a higher standard and should be setting the proper example. Instead, she displayed what not to do as a human being. Her conduct, threatening a child with a gun, is horrendous. But let me let y'all hear from the man himself. Let me give y'all the fair usage. Let's get it.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
I hope you guys are ready for this. Let me thank a couple of people real quick. If y'all are listening, if you donated, I'm going to shout you out real quick, but let me say thank you to Caroline with a G. And Caroline said, tonight is my first time catching you live. So if you're listening, thank you very much. To Nasaria with a J. If you're listening, that's Venmo. So if you're listening, thank you. Thank you to Queenie. Queenie, if you're listening, Cash App, thank you. Bolo TV, where you at, bro? If you're listening, thank you. To Alicia with a V, thank you. Monica with a V, thank you. Almond Brown, Jimmy D. And also Bianca a few times. So if you're listening, thank you. And those on the super chat, thank you as well. All right, let's keep going. Here are the videos.
So developing tonight in Polk County, a Lake Wales city commissioner is charged with pulling a gun on an 11-year-old boy. The accusations infuriated Sheriff Grady Judd. Fox 13's Aaron Mesmer joins us now live from the sheriff's office. I can only imagine what the sheriff had to say, Aaron.
Yeah, and to put it simply, Mark, the sheriff says that these accusations are bad enough that they should make people question whether Commissioner Kristen Fitzgerald can be trusted to make decisions for Lake Wales.
Now, Kristen Fitzgerald did something that was very bad. It was horrible.
This is a familiar face to a lot of people in Lake Wales long before she ended up on a mugshot in Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd's hand. Kristen Fitzgerald is a Lake Wales city commissioner, and now she's in jail.
This city commissioner was way out of line. I mean, it should give everybody pause that she's making decisions for the city of Lake Wales.
Sheriff Judd says Fitzgerald drove to a friend's house Wednesday and asked her friend's 11-year-old boy to get in her car. According to investigators, the commissioner was mad about an incident that happened last year and accused the boy of inappropriately touching another child. He denied it. But what happened next?
She literally petrified him, scared him.
Makes the sheriff furious.
Kristen threatens the child, an 11-year-old child, and says, if you do that again, I'll bury you. She pulls a handgun out from under the seat and shows it to him while she says this.
Judd says the boy heard something even worse.
He said she threatened to kill me and bury me alive. Her statement was, I didn't say I was going to bury him alive. I said I was going to bury him. Did you hear what I said?
Y'all catch that? Now, I got the full interview. Do y'all want to hear the full interview from him? Because I know I do. Let's go ahead and fast forward. Let's go ahead and let y'all hear this. This is absolutely crazy. But here we go. Let's get it.
Some things that you just can't make up. And this is one of them. Let me introduce you to a lady who's in public office. She's a Lake Wales City Commissioner. Her name's Kristen Fitzgerald. She's 41 years of age. Now, Kristen Fitzgerald...
And I agree with y'all in the chat. Why are we only hearing about this a year after the fact?
Gerald did something that was very bad. It was horrible. On June the 2nd of this year, she went to a friend's house and on the cell phone told the friend's 11-year-old child to come outside. And she told him, get in the car. Well, he knew her. He thought, I finished school, I had good grades. Maybe she's going to give me some money or a present or something.
And we're talking about a family friend. This is really, I think the biological mother might need to be investigated. What do y'all think about that? If y'all are listening, click the thumbs up. If y'all love the sheriff, click that thumbs up. I like this dude a lot. Get us 600 thumbs up. All right? Here we go.
This is late in the evening. He gets in the car. She leaves. She drives him down to Struthers Honey House, which is a business, pulls him and asks him if he had done something inappropriate with another child that she knows. And he denies it. This supposedly happened a year ago. Did you hear what I said? A year ago. This victim, who is 11 years old now, was 10 at the time. And the other child that was supposed to be involved in this was 12 at the time. So he denies it. At that time, Kristen threatens the child, an 11-year-old child, and says, if you do that again, I'll bury you. She pulls a handgun out from under the seat and shows it to him while she says this. Then she drives him back to his house with a handgun in her lap and lets him out. He's exceptionally upset, so he goes to his room and tells his older brother that Kristen just threatened to kill him. The older brother goes to Mom. Mom notifies the sheriff's office of an armed disturbance, and deputies respond that night. As the investigation unfolds, it's turned over to the detectives. We find out that she has made admissions that she did that. When the young boy, the 11-year-old, is telling the story, he said she threatened to kill me and bury me alive. Her statement was, I didn't say I was going to bury him alive. I said I was going to bury him.
To me, that lets me know that this woman is slower than a bottle of molasses if you left it out in the snow for too long. I didn't say I was going to bury him alive. I said I was going to bury him. What? Let me let y'all hear that again. This woman is very, very slow.
The young boy, the 11-year-old, is telling the story. He said she threatened to kill me and bury me alive. Her statement was, I didn't say I was going to bury him alive. I said I was going to bury him.
Y'all hear this? And this is not her child. Y'all would let a family friend talk to y'all children this way? Huh. Only in Florida, man. Only in Florida.
Did you hear what I said? Can you believe in 2021 that the lights haven't come on for her yet? That you can't threaten an 11-year-old?
And she's making decisions for y'all city, for y'all area. Think about that. For all the people talking about y'all don't believe in voting. Well, somebody probably voted for this woman because she resembles a black person. Let me say that again. We're always campaigning for people for their skin color and not for the content of what they bring to the table. Think about that for a minute as we start to come into these next set of elections and things like that, where y'all constantly talk about, we need more black people in office, and we need more black people doing this and doing that, right? We need more black coaches just because they black. We need more senators just because they black.
Year-old with a handgun in your hand, she literally petrified him, scared him. We went to arrest her. She gave us partial admissions, and then she said, but I didn't point a handgun at him. And all of the testimony we have is she didn't point it directly at him. She pulled it out and showed it to him and said, I'll bury you if you ever do that again. Folks, there's a lot of details.
And I want to also point this out. Think about this. She wasn't talking about giving the boy a spanking, physically disciplining the boy. This woman is probably significantly bigger than an 11-year-old child. She wasn't talking about spanking him. She was talking about shooting him with bullets, with gunpowder. Everybody understand where I'm coming from? Ending someone's life. Ending a child's life who was actually doing good in school. And you know what's even more messed up? Is this woman probably can't even prove this fabricated story talking about, yeah, you was touching on my 13-year-old. Who's to say that the 13-year-old might not have made that up? Or maybe she was drunk and maybe made it up in her own head. Kids, something about silly, stupid think about. But okay, we're not gonna tell his mom what he did. We're not gonna go to the police about what he did. We're not gonna report this to CPS. What are we gonna do? The logical commissioner mind, the city leader's mind says, oh yeah, how about we murder the little boy? Yes, let's murder the boy over an alleged accusation. That's the way her brain works. While she's making decisions about what streets are being built in your city, what water sources y'all are getting out of y'all city, or what laws they're getting ready to implement in y'all city, right? What programs they're getting ready to take away from y'all cities. Y'all understand where I'm coming from?
That we obviously can't discuss because it's protected information. But this city commissioner was way out of line. I mean, it should give everybody pause that she's making decisions for the city of Lake Wales when she's that irrational. Well, we have that firearm from her. She's currently in the county jail, charged with a felony, an aggravated assault with a firearm, and she's also charged with having the child inappropriately without permission of the parent. I can't explain why someone does something like that. Totally irrational, totally inappropriate. A felonious assault on an 11-year-old child by a city commissioner. She needs to wake up. You're held to a higher standard when you're in public office. She is supposed to set the positive example for the community to follow. What she has done is set the example for the community not to ever follow. So at the end of the day, she'll move through the criminal justice system as she faces her felony charges, and the child is now once again home safe with his family and his family is livid beyond all expectation, as you would be if someone threatened your child to bury them while holding a firearm. Any questions?
There are people online saying she's a good person who made a mistake, and maybe any parent can understand the anger she was feeling. Can you kind of speak to why this was so illegal act?
Yeah, I'm more than happy to explain that to you. I'm not suggesting, somebody says online she's a good person. There's a lot of good people. Even bad people aren't bad all the time. But it doesn't give a good person the right to be wrong occasionally. That was a horrible, felonious act toward an 11-year-old child by a 41-year-old woman who's also a city commissioner. We expect more of everybody in the community, and certainly city commissioners and public officials are held to a higher standard. So regardless of what she thought, it was wrong. Oh, and did I add that the 11-year-old said he smelled alcohol on her? He thought maybe she was drinking or had been drunk or was drunk. So at the end of the day, I don't know what gets into some people to do the irrational things they do, but what she did was a totally irrational, felonious act while she's a city commissioner.
Why did it take so long to arrest you? You said it happened last year?
She just now confronted him the other night from an event that allegedly happened a year ago. An event that the 11-year-old, who was then 10, absolutely, totally denies. And at the end of the day, all of that will be followed up as well. But regardless, you don't get to take the law into your own hands. You don't get to have a few libations in the evening and then storm over to another person's home, take their 11-year-old out of their house, and then threaten them with a gun and to bury them. That's craziness. Anything else? Y'all take care. Have a good weekend. We'll see you when the next person does the most ridiculous thing you've ever imagined in your life. See you later.
I like this dude, man. He's like, I don't know. Like, his skin tone is different than mine. His age is different from mine. But his mindset is where mine is. And he knows that we have access to social media. So I like the fact that he uses his platform, being a police officer or whatever it is that he, being a sheriff, and using it in a positive way to be able to make our world just a little bit better every moment he can. But shout out to Sheriff Judd, man. I really like him. I've seen a number of his videos. But let me say this in closing. The mother, because they specifically spoke about a mother. They didn't say nothing about a dad in that house, which further confirms my belief that this boy was being raised under a roof that only had a mother and no father, okay? Because the dad would not allow this to happen. This woman said, I don't want to talk to the mom, which would have fixed the situation. She said, I want to deal with the boy directly. And taking him to a honey house, I still want to know what type of business this local business this is. You went by your friend's house and picked up your friend's kid. This is not even a family member. I'd be sketchy about a family member. Let alone, I would never, ever let a family friend be around my kid alone. And this is a grown-ass woman with a boy, a vulnerable boy. Let's not act like boy rape doesn't happen, huh? Y'all remember that boy that got shot in the face and he had to basically walk the street blind because a grown man tried to rape that boy? Y'all remember? I did that story. If you didn't see it, go back in my channel, watch that video. Boy rape happens often. We don't talk about it in America. We act like that doesn't happen to boys. It happens more often than you know, where boys are misused and abused and taken advantage of. And guess who they're usually taken advantage of by? Women around her age. Yep. Women around her age. I just think it makes it more egregious, the fact that she's actually a commissioner making laws for your city, for your county, or whatever it is. Because it makes you wonder, what are the things that she signed off on? I think you need to go back and re-examine everything that she signed off on and be like, you know what? I'm not so sure that we made the right choice on that. We might need to re-vote on this. We might need to take another vote on these issues. I believe that this little boy talking about he was scared, I believe him. This boy said he saw a gun, I believe him. He said that she threatened to bury him alive, I believe him. That boy deserves his justice. He deserves his privacy. And this woman deserves a shit ton of time in prison. And matter of fact, she should automatically get 10 years. She should have a baseline, and her cases should run consecutively, not concurrently. If y'all don't know what that means, consecutive and concurrent. Concurrent means at the same time. Consecutive means one after another. She should be forced to do 10 years in jail for lying on record. Then give her time for threatening and abusing that boy. Give her another 10 years. I think 20 years would give this boy plenty of time to grow up, become something great, and be able to defend himself, and give him time to emotionally, spiritually heal from this. 20 years sounds like justice to me. That woman should never be allowed to be around children, and she should never be allowed to make another decision for anybody outside of herself. She's just not a stable individual. I'm DJ Just Jay, and my opinion is just as harsh as Sheriff Judd. We take a harsh stance, especially when it comes to defending our children, and we're going to advocate for children first. Give her a lot of time in jail. Let's see that happens, okay? Thank y'all for listening with an open mind and an open heart. Let's get justice for our babies together. If you see something, say something. All right? We'll see you guys on the next stream. From my heart to yours, I love y'all. Y'all have a great day. We'll see y'all on the next stream. All right? Peace. Thank y'all so much for listening to this stream. That is now going to wrap us up. And I'm sorry that I had to scream. I think by tomorrow, I don't know how quickly I can get it ordered, but I'm going to try to get another mixer because this thing clearly isn't working. I might be able to try to use one of my backups. I have a backup in my car. If that don't work, then I'll just have to just buy a brand new one because we got to make sure that the audio doesn't ever mess up like this again. Thank y'all so much. We didn't quite hit 600 thumbs up. We were really close. We're at 580. We're at 580 thumbs up. If we can get 20 more people before we shut this thing down, that would be awesome. Can we just get 20 more people to get us to 600 thumbs up? That would be awesome. But I love all of you guys. To anybody who donated, I want to say thank you. Even if I didn't read it, if I missed it, y'all know that it did come to me. And if you sent something, thank you. And I appreciate you always. And also for the people who are channel members, for the people who are specifically channel members who have those badges by your name, YouTube sent me a notification that I had some issues with the way I had it set up. So I went back and I had to fix it. Hold on. I had to go back and fix it. So hopefully if you guys want your perks, I did fix the perks. I resubmitted it. So you should be good on your perks. So if you are at a certain level, then those certain levels come with certain things. So if you want to take advantage of those, just shoot me an email and I'll take care of all of you guys, okay? So if you have an issue, you can always ask me. You don't have to report it to YouTube. You can always ask me. If you want a perk, I'll give you your perk. That's what it's for. Because I'm promising you the perk, not YouTube. So just shoot me an email, real easy. The AFC matters at gmail.com. I love you all. Y'all have a good night, okay? Peace.
Nora's Authentic Designer has some of the most glamorous and stylish handbags your girl has ever seen. So ladies, if you want to get fly, and fellas, if you want to take care of your lady, please be sure to go to www.noras915.com. www.noras915.com. That's right, www.noras915.com.
Hello listeners, come mask up with Keyline Designs, where you reap what we sow. We offer essential handcrafted face masks made with 100% cotton, equipped with a built-in filter and a slot for refillable filters. Our masks have many uses like riding motorcycles, ATVs, while out in public places, outside exercising, lawn and gardening, and helps prevent the spread of germs. We offer bling, sports logos, monograms, many assorted fabrics and colors. We make child-sized masks starting at the age of 2. Come join us today for the launch of our new website at keylinedesigns.com. Please be sure to like and follow our page on Facebook. Our links can be found in the description box of this video. Thank you. Exclusive new products that you will only see on my website at www.sayitwithchess.com. These products are made special by my mother, Keyline Designs. The hoodie blankie, the face mask, as well as the 4-in-1 African head wrap. Now the way it works, it is a reversible bonnet. It has a headband that you can wear alone. It has a matching face mask as well. Please be sure to go over to our website and check out these nice new products that you will not find anywhere else.
All right, hopefully, guys, I will have the audio fixed by the next day or two. So y'all bear with me, and I'll try to get that audio fixed.